I just got back from New York City. 5 shows in 4 days. Now it's time to settle down and get back to my schoolwork. Into the Woods? This must be a community theater thing. There's no way I'm gonna be able to go, but I should go ahead and watch the promo video just to see who's on the cast.
I love how it weaves together these classic fairy tales.
I wish
In a far-off kingdom
more than anything
lived a fair maiden, a sad young lady.
Howdy y'all, UFH here, bringing you a review of the Hollywood Bowl's production of Into the Woods the Musical. If you haven't seen Into the Woods yet, stop this video right now, don't watch the Disney version, go to the YouTube search bar and just type Into the Woods. The first thing that comes up has like almost 2 million views, and it's a video of the 1991 production with the original Broadway cast. And then please come back and watch my video because I'm a desperate new YouTuber. Now that we've cleared that up, let's dig into the greens of this review.
parsley, peppers, cabbages, and celery.
Home to the LA Philharmonic, the gigantic Hollywood Bowl Amphitheater stages a different star-studded musical every year. It's always a huge event, but unfortunately it's pretty short-lived, running only 3 nights. Last year's musical was Annie and included Lea Salonga and Roger
Bart.
And this year's casting of Into the Woods didn't disappoint either. The love of my life, Sutton Foster, who's received 2 Tonys for Best Leading Actress in a Musical, played the baker's wife.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
She's currently the star of TV Land's new sitcom, Younger. And before you ask, yes, I have unashamedly been binging it.
It's good, you should read it.
No, I'm not really that big of a reader. I mean, I read Japanese manga every once in a while, but...
Manga? Okay, I know it's pretty cringy, but, that's a video for another time. Skylar Astin from Pitch Perfect 1 and 2 played the baker. Sierra Boggess, the definitive portrayal of Christine Daae, and just a lovely human being with an equally lovely life mission, played Cinderella. Haley Kilgore, who you probably know as Timoon from the recent revival of Once on This Island, played Rapunzel. Patina Miller, who was on Broadway in Sister Act and the recent revival of Pippin, and is now on CBS's drama series Madam Secretary, played the Witch. And Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things and angry TikTok meme fame played Jack. I could go on, but I'll instead link to the full casting in the cards. Before we go any further, I've got to be honest with you guys. The entire cast did an extraordinary job. To accurately portray these roles is difficult enough, but with the abbreviated rehearsal schedule, I can't begin to imagine. That said, I'm still gonna highlight some standouts.
Parsley, peppers, cabbages, and celery.
Sutton freaking Foster. From the hilarity of Any Moment to the raw emotion of Moments in the Woods. Throughout the entire show, Sutton nailed that delicate balance of wisdom and longing and lightheartedness and comedy. This solidified her, in my opinion, as the best baker's wife to date.
I must leave you.
Why?
The giant.
The giant. I had almost forgotten.
Before I get too caught up gushing about the love of my life, let's move on to someone who pleasantly surprised me, Gaten Matarazzo. Before reading the bios, I had no knowledge of Gaten's musical background. I figured he was just hired because he had some semblance of singing talent and because he's recognizable as that boy from Stranger Things. Yeah, I don't know his character name. I've never seen Stranger Things. Boy, was I wrong. Giants in the Sky was not pitch perfect, but it proved to me that Gaten has some freaking chops.
There are big, tall, terrible, awesome, scary, wonderful giants in the sky.
He was also just a great fit for Jack, even if he's a little bit young for the role. Next, we're going to talk about the chemistry between Cheyenne Jackson and Chris Carmack, particularly in Agony and its reprise. I honestly believe this could be the best pairing of princes the world has ever seen. Just listen to this.
I must have her to
You can tell they fine-tuned every piece of the puzzle. Their vocal production, energy, facial expressions, and interactions fit so perfectly together. And the timbre of both of their voices, this rich, royalty-esque type quality, it's almost identical. It's a little creepy. To tell you the truth, I'd never heard the name Chris Carmack before seeing this, but it's clear this is not his first rodeo. Just when I thought I couldn't be any more impressed. Finally, you guys know who I can't forget. Sierra Boggess as Cinderella.
There's a lot that's at stake, but you've stalled long enough, but you're still standing stuck in the stuff on the steps. Better run along.
There's not much to say other than this is another one of those castings that could easily be argued the best of all time. At the very least, she's tied with Kim Crosby in my book. I could spend all day talking positively about everyone in this cast, but we need to move on, so let's talk about the most important part of a musical.
Parsley, peppers, cabbages, and celery.
Conducted by Kevin Stites, the accompaniment of the Los Angeles Philharmonic was to die for. In fact, the orchestration was probably the fullest it's ever been, unless we're counting the movie version.
Take that smug look off your face, Disney. We're all still upset with most of the decisions you made with that movie.
The intonation and technical proficiency of the group was spot on, and that's difficult to find anywhere other than Broadway itself. Besides that, the slightly more bright and whimsical interpretation of the music created an atmosphere that was perfect for what Robert Longbottom created on stage. The only mistake I picked up on were a handful of syncing issues between the singers and the orchestra, but this is to be expected with the limited rehearsal time. As far as the best songs go, I've mentioned a good bit of them already. Moments in the Woods was hands down my personal favorite, but It Takes Two and Agony takes the cake for the best numbers of the evening. Really, every duet was damn near flawless. As far as solos go, Stay With Me was a beautiful lament, bolstered by Patina Miller's powerful vibrato.
The world is dark and wide.
On the Steps of the Palace is another that cannot go without being mentioned. It's one of those that you dream of a modern legend like Sierra having the opportunity to sing. When it comes to the more lackluster numbers, No More comes to mind. It wasn't bad, per se, but it felt like Skylar Astin was trying too hard. This becomes a real issue when the franticness makes itself present in his voice. When put beside Anthony Crivello, who's going for a more grounded interpretation of these parallel emotions, it just doesn't work for me. However, the killer of the song was a single note, or rather, a single third.
Like father, like son. Like father, like son.
For lack of time, I'm gonna sum up all of the ensemble numbers with one word. Incredible. Just as incredible as you'd expect. To put an end to the impatience of my patina fans watching, Your Fault and Last Midnight. To my surprise, Your Fault was not as messy as I was bracing myself for. Perhaps this is because I went on night 3 instead of night 1. Even so, this was still the song where the most phasing occurred between the orchestra and the speedily singing cast. Also, to my surprise, Last Midnight was messier than I was ready for. Patina put this number into overdrive. Kevin was like watching her so intently just to keep up. But it was almost as if Patina was trying to keep up with herself too. You can tell because some of her breaths are a loud gasp for air. But I excused all these things because her performance was intense. Just look at her angrily casting out those beans. Even so, there was one big change that ruined it all. And it has to do with the boom. We see lightning flash, hear a scream of agony, and then nothing. She stands there for another second, and then slowly struts off stage, turning back one last time before disappearing behind the tower structure. I couldn't believe what I was watching. The entire dramatic effect of the witch killing herself to escape the misery of those around her was gone. I read some comments and reviews that said, oh, well, they couldn't make her disappear on this stage. But that only holds up if you have a very limited imagination. Other folks said, oh, well, it was a creative choice. A more empowering way for her to leave everyone else behind. Actually, those people might be halfway right. I think this decision was half laziness / lack of creativity, and half we're trying to be deep and meaningful. Whatever the reason, they robbed this scene of its meaning entirely. If you disagree, leave a comment below so that I can berate you and call you terrible names. Speaking of creative decisions,
parsley, peppers, cabbages, and celery.
The first thing you'll notice about the set is how remarkably unwoodsy it is. There's a single permanent structure on stage with a full moon connected to it. It acts mainly as Rapunzel's tower, but doubles as Cinderella's dead mom tree, and the tree from which Jack and the bakers slay the giant. The structure slopes downward to form the floor, and to the left of it, a small set of stairs curves behind it. Covered in a decorative design of gold and purple, this tower structure gives the entire atmosphere a more playful storybook touch. To complete the forest look, 4 trees on wheels are manned by woodsman ensemble members. These woodsmen also man Cinderella's birdie buddies with a stick. Enjoy this rough sketch of what that looked like. Our other favorite animal, Milky White, is looking extra anemic in this adaptation. By that, I mean he isn't quite scaled to size, so he looks more like a large pet dog than a dying adult cow. What really ties it all together are the projections that are used throughout the show. Like Cinderella's mother cast on the moon, the flashes of light around the arc above the stage, and best of all, the giant shadow of our giant, Whoopi Goldberg. I still don't know if she was actually there in the flesh, standing in front of a projector, or if it was a pre-recorded thing, but I don't think any of us in the audience were ready for how cool they made her look, towering over our frightened main characters. I wish I would have taken a picture for y'all, but once again, this rough sketch will have to do. Overall, considering this was a limited run musical, I think that the staging went above and beyond what was necessary to put on a great show. With the exception of Last Midnight. Yes, I'm still salty about it.
Parsley, peppers, cabbages, and celery.
The Hollywood Bowl's production of Into the Woods distinguishes itself with its dream cast who put on an outstanding performance. Actresses like Sutton Foster and Sierra Boggess take this show to heights it has not seen in decades. My final score? 4.7 out of 5 Tonys. The fourth one is for Sierra Boggess because we all know she should have gotten a Tony a long time ago. And the 0.7 was just to get the score closer to 5, but we'll go ahead and divide that up among the rest of this deserving cast. If you stuck around for this slightly nitpicky and constantly out of focus review, you'd probably like to see me review more musicals in the future. If so, I think you know what to do. So, you know, I'm not gonna tell you. This is usually the place where the YouTuber directs you to some of their other videos, but this is my very first video, so I can't do that yet. However, since I know you new subscribers are eager to indulge me with another end of video request, please leave a comment below letting me know if you'd be interested in watching a video about Younger, the TV series. I'm mostly gonna make fun of it, but I'm also gonna fawn over Sutton Foster, so it should be a good time. If you can't tell by now, I'm gonna make it either way, so yeah. I'm gonna leave now. This video's getting pretty long, so yeah, see you next time.